spend less time thinking about making a movie and more time making it happen.
Welcome back to TALNT, everyone. I'm Fatima, your host for this version of our podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Community Micro Short Award, and to do that we decided to change things up a little bit. This award had 3 main rules: make it short, make it quick, and make it unforgettable. And that's what we're trying to do with this version of our podcast. Let's get started. In first place, voted by our community, is Cuatro Gatos en una Caja by Deery, or 4 Cats in a Box. It's an interesting name, and a nod to Schrodinger's cat. Now, this short was created as part of a challenge by the Coders Room, and let's just say it might have been kismet. I'll let Steve tell you more himself.
But for me, the writing task was made easier because Luis, the director, gave a very clear brief. There was a deadline, and that always concentrates the mind. It was to include 4 actors, each actor to be given the same screen time. It was to be in one location and delivered all within under 5 minutes. So my challenge was to try and sort of maintain the tension, and the director's challenge was to try and maintain visual interest within those sort of claustrophobic bounds. But from the story point of view, once I'd embraced the problem, if you like, that became the solution, and that then became the story itself.
The problem became the solution. I absolutely love that. Now, this film was shot in a confined space, right? And the script really kind of walks a tightrope between humor and tension, oftentimes at the same time. How exactly did that work?
It is a claustrophobic stage, and it represents a sort of literal and philosophical Schrodinger's box. It's the space needed to contain the uncertainty of the situation, the same as a cabin in the woods, an aeroplane, a submarine. Of course, Schrodinger's cat is the famous quantum thought experiment, where a cat is sealed in a box and it's both alive and dead until it's observed. Now, in this case, in the film, the car becomes the box and the characters are the cats. And the uncertainty of whether they're safe or not creates a tension that sort of mirrors Schrodinger's paradox. So the characters are trapped in a situation where their fate is suspended until something external intervenes, which of course becomes our punchline later on. That tightrope between humour and tension is a fine balance, as you say. But Schrodinger's thought experiment really did a lot of the work for me. As the heat and tension in the car rises, temperatures begin to fray, and then the line between thought experiment and panic blurs as the characters begin to realise they might actually be dead and alive. So the limitations I spoke about earlier didn't just shape the film, they actually sort of amplified its central metaphor. And of course, jokes falling flat leads to forced laughs, which lets the humour land inside the tension rather than break it.
That Steve and the team literally took what they had and turned it into art. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, without spoiling the short, opening the door becomes almost symbolic. What is the takeaway when that metaphorical door opens, or does it?
The film ends holding us in that suspended moment. Do the characters open the door and face reality, or stay safe in their uncertainty? But of course, I had to add a twist to the end of the story. But whether they open the door or not, the takeaway is that, as in life itself, inaction can be as defining as action. And sometimes the biggest tension lies not in what happens next, but in that moment before we decide.
I'm a sucker for symbolism. It's such a conversation starter, and to me, one of my favorite things about storytelling as a whole is how we use imagery and symbols to really just make our message kind of almost customizable. I love that. Now, for us at DCP, it's our goal to support filmmakers and creators, and oftentimes what we hear after an award has ended is really what kind of gives us that confirmation that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So let's take a listen.
As a writer, winning is always a pleasure. But winning on decentralized pictures is an even greater pleasure because I know just how tough the competition is. But of course, the opportunity to compete only exists because DCP provides a platform for it. So being a recipient matters because I believe that what DCP are doing matters. But so to borrow from the sort of, the film's core sort of takeaway, if you like, is that our inactions can be as defining as our actions. So if I was going to give any advice at all, it would be maybe spend less time thinking about making a movie and more time making it happen.
Listen to the advice or ignore it. Action and inaction both have impact, right? This is where we leave you today, guys. Stay tuned for 2 more micro short episodes, and who knows what else, right? Till next time.